The moon of Veltarax was not a place for peace. It was wild, hot, and full of danger. Thick jungles covered its surface, and strange animals moved in the shadows. 20 years ago, it was a battlefield. Humans and aliens fought there. Soaked the soil. Back then, Lieutenant Cole Marston was a young soldier in the Terran Defense Force. He was brave, smart, and followed orders. But one mission changed his life forever. His team was sent to rescue a group of human scientists trapped in the jungle. Their ship had crashed after being attacked by a swarm of insect-like aliens called the Zelari. These creatures had many legs, sharp claws, and no fear. They killed everything in their path. Cole's team fought hard. Bullets flew. Soldiers screamed. The Zelari kept coming. One by one, Cole's teammates were killed. He was the last one left. Lone, wounded, and lost deep in the jungle, Cole kept moving forward. He did not care about orders anymore. He just wanted to survive and find the missing scientists, but what he found was not human. Near a burned clearing, he saw a broken alien ship. The metal was dark and sharp, not like anything made by humans. Smoke rose from it. Inside, Cole heard a soft voice groaning in pain. He aimed his rifle and stepped in. There, trapped under heavy wreckage, was a female alien. She was tall and thin, with smooth silver skin and bright violet eyes. Her body was wounded, her breathing weak. She was a Velera from the royal species that ruled the distant hive worlds. The Velerae were not enemies, but they were not friends either. Humans and Velari had signed a peace treaty years ago. They did not fight, but they did not trust each other. Cole had never seen a Velari this close before. She looked at him with fear and something else. Confusion. Hope. He aimed his gun at her. She said nothing. She just stared. Then he heard the sound of Zelari approaching. He looked back at the alien woman. He should have left her. She was not. His mission? She was not his problem. But something in her eyes made him stop. She was not a monster. She was alive and afraid. Cole dropped his rifle. He used all his strength to lift the metal off her. His hands bled. His muscles screamed. But he did it. And he pulled out his medkit. He patched her wounds as best as he could. He didn't speak her language, but he whispered, "You're going to be okay." The Zelari were getting closer. Couldn't. Stay. He placed a flare beacon nearby, hoping someone would find her. Then he disappeared into the jungle, never looking back. 20 years passed. People forgot about the Veltarax War. The Terran government changed. The Velari hive grew stronger. The Zelari were pushed back into deep space. Peace was not perfect, but it held. Now, on a giant space station called Oria's Prime, a historic peace summit was about to begin. Humans and Velari were planning a new alliance. Trade, technology, and maybe even military support. The talks were delicate. One mistake could bring war. Commander Cole Marsden stood in the security line watching over the human delegation. He wore a clean uniform now, but his eyes were old. His face was scarred. He did his duty with quiet strength. He had never told anyone about the Velari woman he saved. He thought she had died, forgotten him. Then the doors opened and everything changed. The Velari arrived in silence. They were tall, graceful, and dressed in elegant armor. In the center was a cloaked figure. Her skin shone like polished silver. Her violet eyes scanned the room. She walked with power. The humans whispered, "That's their queen." Queen removed her hood. Her eyes landed on Cole, and she stopped. The room grew silent. Everyone turned to look. She stepped forward slowly, ignoring the leaders, the guards, the diplomats. She stood in front of Cole. Then she spoke. Her voice was calm, smooth, and full of memory. "Do you remember? You saved my life." Gasps filled the air. Human generals looked at each other. Velari warriors blinked in surprise. Cole's heart pounded. He stared at her. Her face was older, stronger, but he remembered those eyes. The fear, the hope. He nodded. "I remember," said softly. The queen turned to the Velari and raised her hand. "This human," she said, "is my life-giver. In our tradition, he is sacred. I owe him my crown, my breath, and my future." A whisper spread. Like fire in Valari culture, a life-giver was not just a hero. It was a symbol of deepest honor. To save a royal life was to become part of the royal legacy. The queen continued, "Because of him, I survived. Because of him, I became queen. And because of him, I believe peace is possible." The humans stood in shock. The diplomats looked confused. The soldiers looked nervous. Only Cole remained calm. He bowed his head. "I didn't do it for thanks," he said. "I just saw someone who needed help." The queen smiled. "That is why it matters." From that moment, the summit changed. People talked. People questioned. Was this a trick? Test? Or was it real? One thing was clear. A bond had been made 20 years ago. In a burning jungle land, it was not broken, but not everyone was happy. In the shadows of the station, someone watched the scene through a hidden camera. A cold voice spoke into a communicator. "Queen has made contact with the human. Proceed to Phase 2. Far away, in the dark corners of space, ships began to move. Weapons were loaded. Plans were set. The past was not finished, and the real battle was only beginning." The room stayed silent even after the queen finished speaking. The Valari delegation looked confused. Human diplomats whispered among themselves. Some were angry, some were curious. Everyone was watching the same thing: a human soldier. Valari queen. And a connection that nobody understood. Commander Cole Marston stood tall, though his heart was heavy. He had not expected this. Not here. It's not now. He looked at Queen Athari again. The memories came back fast, her face under that wreckage, her weak breathing, her eyes full of pain. He never thought he'd see her again. And now, she was standing before him, the ruler of a powerful alien empire, calling him her life-giver. Behind. Cole, General Anders, head of the human delegation, stepped forward. He looked confused and cautious. "Your Majesty," Anders said politely, "we had no knowledge of this. History between you and our officer." Queen Athari turned to him. "This is not history. This is truth." She walked back to her seat with grace and silence. The other Valari followed her. Anders leaned toward Cole. "What in hell just happened?" Cole replied quietly. 20 years ago, I saved her life on Viltarex. I didn't know who she was."
"Oh, well."
Anders muttered. "Now the whole galaxy knows." The summit resumed, but everything felt different. The Valari spoke more softly. The humans chose their words carefully. The mood was no longer tense but uncertain. Everyone was waiting. Watching later that evening, in the guest quarters of Oria's Prime, Cole stood by the window. He looked out, at the stars, deep in thought. He didn't like attention. He was a soldier, not a hero. A soft sound came from the door, a chime. Someone was outside. Cole opened the door and was surprised to see Queen Athari herself, with only one guard. "May I come in?" she asked. He nodded slowly. "Of course." Inside, she removed her royal cloak. Underneath, she wore a light armor suit, elegant but practical. "I did not come to start rumors," she said. "I came because it was time." Cole looked at her. "Time for what?" She sat down. "Time to remind both our people that mercy still exists." There was a long silence. "I never thought you survived," Cole said finally. "I almost didn't," she replied. "The flare beacon you left saved me. My people found me an hour later. They took me back. I was in a coma for weeks." "Didn't even know your name," Cole said. "You didn't need to. You still chose to help." They sat quietly for a moment. Then she added, "I have searched for you since the war ended, but your records were classified. Hidden. Why?" It gave a small laugh. Because the Terran government doesn't like complicated stories. A soldier saving an alien queen. That's too much peace for a war file. She smiled faintly. And yet here we are. The next day, the news had already spread across Oria's Prime. People whispered in halls. Porters tried to get statements. Both the human and Valari sides tried to control the story. But it was too late. Commander Marston. The Queen's life-giver was already the headline across dozens of news channels. Some people supported it. Others didn't. Valari hardliners said Athari had broken tradition, that no queen should honor a human. Some even said she was weak. On the human side, some officials worried it was a trap. What if she's just manipulating us? One diplomat said. Maybe this is a strategy to win our trust. Back in the Queen's private chambers, her closest counsel argued with her. This is dangerous, her advisor hissed. We're making yourself vulnerable. Ithari stood tall. He saved me. Oh, I will not hide that truth. What? If your enemies use it against you? They already are, she said calmly. But I will not rule through lies. That night, the danger became real. Cole was walking back to his room when the lights in the hallway flickered. Then a sudden explosion rocked the corridor. Alarms blared. Smoke filled the air. From the shadows, masked attackers rushed forward fast, silent, and deadly. Their weapons were advanced, not human. Lorray, Cole dove behind cover, drawing his pistol. He fired back, hitting one attacker. In the leg, the others kept coming. Then, from the other side of the corridor, a Valari royal guard appeared, with a curved energy blade. Behind her, Queen Athari herself, armed and calm, she threw Cole a second weapon. Together, they fought. Side by side. Cole took down two attackers with precise shots. Athari moved like wind, her blade glowing, slicing through armor. She was no ordinary queen. She was a warrior. Finally, the last attacker fell, dead or unconscious. Security teams arrived. Late, confused, and panicked, Ithari stood over the bodies and said, "These were not from my world." Cole knelt by one of the attackers. He pulled off the mask. Underneath, the face was insect-like. Not a Zellery, but close, hybrida. He frowned. They're mixing DNA. These aren't just mercenaries. Ethar nodded. This was not a random attack. Someone wants us dead. Later, in a secured meeting room, Cole and Athari met with the human intelligence officer, Major Rin. She scanned the weapons taken from the attackers. These guns, Rin said, are made from both human and Valari tech. That's not possible unless someone is smuggling tech between our systems. Athari looked at Cole. A third party. Cole nodded. Someone who wants the treaty to fail, Rin added. We've seen rumors of Zellery survivors working, with rogue scientists, genetic labs hidden in outlaw space, but we never had proof. Cole stood up. We have it now. He pointed to one of the attackers' weapons. This barrel uses human military alloy. But the power core, that's Valari. Athera's voice turned cold. Someone is trying to restart the war. General Anders was furious. He slammed his fist on the table. How did assassins get past our security? On a peace station. No one died, Cole said. We stopped them. That's not the point, Commander. This summit is now a target. If the Queen had died, she didn't, Cole snapped. If she had, I would have died with her. Died. Silent Atheri looked at Cole, a faint smile on her face. I believe that, she said softly. Anders sighed. This is bigger than we thought. Later that night, Cole and Atheri met again, this time in a quiet garden room, hidden away from the cameras and guards. Why do you still trust me? Cole asked. Tatsa replied, because you had no reason to save me, and you did. Cole looked up at the stars above. Saving one person isn't enough to fix 20 years of mistrust. No, she said, but it's enough to begin. Sat in silence, watching the stars. But outside the walls of Oria's Prime, warships were moving. Plans were being made. And enemies waited in the dark. Because peace had enemies. And those enemies were ready to strike again. The sun over Oria's Prime never set. The giant space station was built near a small star, always shining, always awake. But inside, people were growing tired and afraid. After the assassination attempt on Queen Atheri, both the humans and Valari were on edge. Armed guards now stood at every corner. Peace talks slowed down. Rumors flew across the station. Some said war was coming again. Others said it had already started. But Commander Cole Marston didn't care about rumors. He cared about truth. He walked into the security lab where Major Wren and her team were working day and night. On the table in front of them were parts of the attackers' weapons, strange guns, made from both human and Valari tech. It's impossible. Illegal. Cole picked up a shattered energy cell. These parts, he said, are only made in high-level Terran factories. How did they end up with alien attackers? Wren answered without looking up. Because someone sold them. Someone high enough to cover their tracks. Cole frowned. Inside job? She nodded. Maybe inside both governments? The tech mix is too clean? Someone wanted to make weapons that could not be traced? Hybrid guns? Hybrid soldiers? Cole looked at her. What are we dealing with, Wren? She turned the screen around. It showed a map routes from Earth to Valari space and red dots in the outer systems. We found something, she said. A hidden station. No name. No ID. But 2 supply ships were tracked going there last week. One had human codes. A Valari. He stared at the screen. Location. Edge of the darkened belt. Between no man's land. Cole stood straight. I'll go. You can't, Wren said. You're on diplomatic duty. Someone tried to kill the Queen, Cole said. This is part of the same puzzle. I'm not sitting on a chair while others bleed. Wren looked at him, then sighed. Fine, but don't go alone. 2 hours later, in a private chamber, Cole met with Queen Athari. She listened carefully as he explained everything: the secret station, stolen tech, the hybrid weapons. Her eyes stayed calm, but sharp. They are trying to start a new war, she said, and they are using us to do it. Cole nodded. They want you dead. They want me silenced. We can stop them. She stood. And we do it together. Cole looked surprised. You're coming? She looked him in the eye. This is not just your fight, Cole. It's mine too. By nightfall, a small stealth ship left Oria's Prime. It had no flags, no ID, and no flight plan. Only to people. We're on board Commander Cole Marston and Queen Her. Inside the ship. They wore light armor and kept their weapons ready. How long until we reach the station? Theory asked. 6 hours, Cole said. Plenty of time to rest. But neither of them rested. They sat across from each other in silence. The stars passed outside like silver rivers. After a while, Athari spoke. Why did you become a soldier? Cole thought for a moment. I wanted to protect people. She smiled slightly. Even aliens. He smiled back. Especially the ones stuck under wreckage. She laughed, a rare, gentle sound. You haven't changed. No, he said, just older. Maybe a little slower, I doubt that. 6 hours later, they reached the darkened belt, a dangerous area, filled with old mining fields and broken ships. Deep inside was a hidden base, invisible to normal scanners. Cole piloted the ship carefully, using silent mode. No lights. No signals. There it is, he said. The base floated near an asteroid field. Black and sharp, like a spider in the web. Lights glowed along its side. No markings. No welcome. They docked quietly. Athari put on her helmet. Ready? Let's find out who wants us dead, Cole replied. Inside the station, it was dark and quiet. Too quiet. They moved through narrow halls. Security was tight, but not tight enough for a queen and a human war veteran. They avoided cameras, took down 2 guards with silent strikes, and reached the command center. What they saw shocked them. Inside the control room, dozens of workers, both human and Valari, were building weapons. Giant crates of hybrid rifles, energy cores, and nanotech bombs filled the room. On the screens, Cole saw something worse: plans for false attacks. Ships dressed as human fleets attacking Valari worlds, Valari drones attacking human colonies. All fake, all designed to start war. Then, a voice filled the room. So, the Queen and the soldier. I was told you might come. From the shadows, a man stepped forward. Older, cold-eyed, and wearing black armor with no symbols, Cole recognized him. General Kale Dravik, Cole said. You died 10 years ago. Dravik smiled. That's what I wanted everyone to think. Ithari stepped forward. Why betray your own people? Because peace is a lie, Dravik said. War is profit. Right. War is order. The galaxy needs fire to burn away the weak. You're insane, Cole said. No, Dravik said calmly. I'm free. Free from your soft politics. From your fragile treaties? I built something real here, and you won't stop it. He raised his hand, and the room locked down. Alarms blared. Guards poured in. Weapons aimed at Cole and Ithari stood back to back. Looks like we fight our way out, she said. Like old times, he replied. The battle inside the base was fierce. Cole fired his rifle with perfect aim, dropping enemies left and right. Ithari danced through the chaos, her energy blade moving like light. They moved as one, covering each other, protecting each other. Explosions rocked the station. Sparks flew. One of the hybrid bombs was hit, setting off a chain reaction. Time. To go, Cole shouted. They ran to the docking bay, dodging bullets and fire. Dravik appeared again, trying to stop them. He shot at Ithari, but Cole stepped in front, taking the shot in his armor. Fell to the ground. Ithari screamed, her blade slicing through Dravik's weapon. She kicked him back and grabbed Cole. Don't you die on me again, she said. I'm fine, he grunted. Just a scratch. They reached the ship. Ithari carried him inside, and they launched out just as the entire base exploded behind them. Back on Oria's Prime, the news hit like lightning. A secret war base, a fake war plan, a traitor general. The evidence was clear. Both human and Valari governments saw it. The peace talks were saved, but something more important had changed in the eyes of many. Cole and Ithari were no longer just soldier and queen. They were partners, symbols, a bridge between worlds and enemies across. The galaxy now knew this time peace would not fall so easily. Oria's Prime was never silent. But tonight it felt heavy with quiet. The explosion of the hidden warbase had shocked the galaxy. News spread fast. The Queen and a human soldier had destroyed a secret weapon factory. A dead general was alive and behind a plan to restart the war. They had proof. They had survived. But peace came at a cost. Commander Cole Marston lay on a medical bed, unconscious. His armor had stopped most of the blast, but his body was badly burned, and his ribs were cracked. He had taken the shot meant for Queen Ithari. Doctors worked on him in silence. Machines beeped. Nurses moved quickly. Outside the room, guards stood with weapons ready. No one could enter without permission, except one. Queen Ithari stood beside the bed. Her royal armor was still stained from battle. Her hands, usually calm and elegant, were clenched. Her face, always strong, now showed something rare pain. She looked at the man who had saved her. Again, you foolish human, she whispered. Why do you always do this? He didn't answer. Couldn't. But she stayed beside him. Hours later, General Anders entered the hospital wing. He looked at Cole, then at the Queen. You should rest, he said softly. She didn't move. Not until he wakes up. Anders nodded. We owe him a lot. No, she replied. I owe him everything. Anders looked down. We've confirmed the data. The hidden station was building ships to start false flag attacks. The evidence was sent to Earth and the Valari Council. And what will you do with it? Tari asked. We'll expose everyone involved. Arrest those who helped Dravik. The war almost restarted because of them. Ithari nodded slowly. You may punish the traitors. But what will you reward the one who saved us? Anders didn't reply. He had no answer. 3 days passed. On the 4th day, Cole woke up. He opened his eyes slowly, bright lights above him, pain in his chest, the smell of medicine, beeping machines, and then her voice. Finally, Ithari said, standing beside him. I was starting to think humans sleep for weeks. He gave a weak smile, only when shot in the chest. She sat beside him. You're lucky. You're not. Armor took most of the blast. Still hurts like hell, he muttered. She nodded. Pain is proof that you're alive. He looked at her. We made it out. Yes, she said. The station is gone. Dravik is dead. And you are a hero again, he sighed. I don't care about that, I know, she said softly. That's why it matters. Later that day, they met with both human and Valari leaders. The mood was different now. Respect had replaced suspicion. Cole stood, still sore, but proud. Athari stood beside him. The plot is real, Cole said. The weapons were meant to turn us against each other. Traitors were both human and Valari, Athari added. We must not let their hate win. The human president spoke first. Commander Marston, your actions have saved thousands, maybe millions. Athari spoke next. His actions saved me. I owe him a life debt, according to our ancient law. But I owe him more than that. She looked at the leaders of both worlds. Today, I propose a new treaty. Not just between our governments, but between our people. Real exchange, real peace. We begin with him. Everyone looked at Cole. He looked confused. Begin with me? She turned to him. In Valari tradition, the life-giver becomes part of the royal family. Not by blood, but by bond. A bridge between worlds. The room was silent. Cole blinked. You want me to become royal? No, she said with a smile. I want you to become more than a soldier. I want you to become a symbol, a living reminder of what mercy can create. He hesitated. I didn't do it for reward. She nodded. And that's why you deserve one. Outside the chamber, news reporters shouted questions. Commander, is it true the Queen has chosen you for a royal bond? Are humans and Valari now allies? Is this a political move or something more? Cole ignored the cameras. He walked with Athari through the garden halls of the station, filled with plants from both Earth and Valari worlds. The Peace Garden. Do you really believe this will work? He asked. I believe you are living proof it can, she answered. They sat near a glowing tree, its roots floating in a zero-gravity bubble. Do you remember? She asked gently. When you found me under that wreckage? Every day, he said. I never thanked you properly, she said. You did, he replied. You lived. She looked at him seriously. No, I lived. I learned. I was raised to see humans as dangerous, cold, selfish. But you bleeding, Alonia gave me your last medical pack. You didn't even ask my name. He looked away. I didn't think I'd survive anyway. But you did, she said, and now we both have a chance to change everything. The next day, the ceremony began, in the grand assembly of Oria's Prime. Thousands of people gathered, humans, Valari, even ambassadors from other alien races. It was the largest peace gathering in decades. At the center, Queen Athari stood, tall in ceremonial robes of violet and silver. Beside her, Commander Cole Marsden wore a clean uniform. Patched from his last battle, but shining with medals, a Valari elder stepped forward. In the presence of stars and truth, said we. Honor the bond of mercy. A life given, a life shared. Athari spoke. This human saved me not once, but twice. He showed mercy when he had nothing. He chose peace when war was all around him. She turned to Cole. With this vow, I name you Sol Var, the bridge between. You will hold voice in my court. You will stand between our people. You will walk in two worlds. Cole nodded slowly. I don't know how to be royal, he said. But I know how to protect people, she smiled. That's all I ask. They placed their hands on the ancient stone, one human, one Valari. The crowd cheered. Cameras flashed. The galaxy watched, and somewhere in dark corners of space, those who wanted war knew they had failed for now. Later, away from the lights and noise. Cole sat beside Athari one last time before returning to duty. I'm still a soldier, he said. What if war finds us again? She looked at him. Then we fight side by side. He gave her a look. You're a queen. You're not. Supposed to fight? She smirked. I've fought beside you twice now. I think I've earned the right. He laughed quietly. They watched the stars in silence. After a while, he said, You know, saving your life wasn't part of the mission. Saving yours wasn't part of mine, she replied. but here we are. The stars over Oria's prime twinkled softly like scattered diamonds on black velvet. The great space station had survived another storm. It was quiet now, but the calm held the promise of change. Commander Cole Marston had changed too. No longer just a soldier. He was Solon Var of the Bridge Between Worlds, but his new title did not soften the weight on his shoulders. The galaxy was still dangerous, full of old grudges and fresh fears. Still, Cole felt something new inside him. Hope, days. After the ceremony, Cole stood on the observation deck, looking at the vastness of space. Queen Athari joined him quietly. "You look different," she said softly. Cole turned. "Do I? You do?" "More at peace." He smiled. "Maybe because I'm not just fighting for one side anymore." She leaned on the railing beside him. "That's the power of mercy. It connects. It heals." They stood together in silence, watching ships come and go, traders, explorers, diplomats. "Peace is fragile," Athari said, "but stronger now." Back in the political halls, tensions remained high. Some humans in Valari resisted the new treaty. Some saw Cole and Atari as traitors, but many others saw the truth. The war would never come again if they all chose. To work together, Cole was sent as an envoy to human colonies. Spoke to soldiers, farmers, scientists, anyone willing to listen. "War is not our future," he said. "We are stronger together." He carried the message of the Queen and of Mercy. One evening, on a small human colony called Terranus 7, Cole met a young girl named Mira. She was curious and brave, with eyes full of questions. "Are you really the Queen's soldier?" she asked. "I am," he said. "Do you think peace can last?" Cole looked at her. "It has to. We must protect it." Mira smiled. "I want to be like you, brave and kind." "You will be," Cole said. "Better." Meanwhile, back on Oria's prime, Queen Athari worked to rebuild trust between her people and the humans. She opened schools that taught both languages, cultures, and histories. Valari and human children learned side by side. She held forums where leaders discussed problems openly, and she kept a close watch on the stars, knowing danger could still come. One day, a warning arrived. A small fleet of unknown ships approached. The station, their markings were alien and strange. The council panicked. Cole and Athari stood together again. "This could be the test," she said. "Are we ready?" Cole nodded. "We face it as one." The ships entered the stations. Communication zone. A voice spoke, not threatening, but firm. "We come as friends." The visitors were from a distant star system. It's called the Zar Thin. They had watched the peace talks and the bravery of the human and Valari alliance. They came to offer help and ask for an alliance. Athari smiled. "Together we can protect this part of the galaxy." Cole stepped forward. "And teach others that mercy is stronger than hate." Months passed. The alliance grew. Ships from different races flew side by side. New trade routes opened. New discoveries were made. Old wounds began to heal. And through it all, Cole and Athari remained. Symbols, a human soldier, and an alien queen, proof that peace was possible. One quiet evening, Cole and Athari sat again in the Peace Garden under the glowing tree. "Do you remember when you saved my life?" she asked. He laughed softly. "How could I forget?" She looked at him. "I think you saved more than me." He reached out, holding her hand. "Maybe we saved each other." He sat quietly, watching stars dance in the endless sky. The galaxy was far from perfect. But here in this moment, hope was real. And for the first time in many years, the future looked bright.